Maybe longer. Yeah, it feels like a really long time ago. To be honest, yeah, lots happened since then. Like on and off the court with family and children and injuries and all sorts. Yeah.
And how do you think you've kind of grown and changed, both professionally and personally, in over that 10 years?
Um, I don't think I've changed loads. I do think that I've probably learned to be more patient since the children really. That's always yeah, it's very challenging. Obviously, having a lot of little ones running around. So I think I've learned to become a bit more patient and understanding. I think probably 10 years ago I would have been, I think, more selfish as well. So hopefully that's changed a bit too. I do think that you have to be a bit that way when you're in an individual sport, but I do feel like I've changed a little bit.
Do you think that patience has kind of helped you on court as well?
I'm still quite impatient when it comes to my tennis, unfortunately. But yeah, no, at times I think that the one thing that you realize, like after I finish playing, like playing my matches or my practices and stuff, I'm probably a bit kinder to myself now because, and I've spoken to sports psychologists and everything, but one of the questions is sort of ask myself is, well, if your kids were in this situation, like what would you tell them? And you tend to be more understanding with your children rather than how you talk to yourself. I think, and that's definitely helped me.
Has it been a hard process learning to be kinder to yourself?
Yeah, I would say so because have always been my worst sort of critic and always been very hard on myself and put a lot of pressure on myself to perform and do well, which is something that I like about myself because I feel like I have high standards and I'm very driven and always wanting to do better. But sometimes, like even when I've done my best and given my best effort, which is all you can ever do, I would still beat myself up about it, and I definitely do that a bit less now.
No, absolutely. And what did that first win, kind of at Wimbledon, the home ground, what did that mean for you?
It's just relief, really. It was just relief. I was absolutely exhausted after the match. I've played many like longer matches than that over the years, but I remember like it was probably about 20 minutes after I'd come off the court, I was sitting waiting to do the drugs test, and I was sitting with my wife, and I remember like just saying to her, I feel like I want. This is not usual. Usually with like the adrenaline and everything after a match, you're kind of buzzing and it's difficult to sleep. But I was like, I want to lie down. Like I feel so tired. I was completely drained after the match, and it was obviously an incredible moment. But I was clearly feeling like feeling that moment, feeling the pressure and stress of it. Took a lot out of me.
Did it take a while to sink in properly and to feel any kind of euphoria, do you think?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like months, but I certainly didn't feel it like that evening or even the few days afterwards. I found it quite surreal, really. It was a very strange feeling. I've never experienced that any other stage in my career. Like, just the size of the story that it was, certainly in this country. But yeah, it wasn't until I went away on a holiday with my wife straight afterwards. It was just the two of us when I was actually able to just enjoy it and think a bit about it and what had gone into achieving that.
And do you have any particular favourite off-court memories at Wimbledon over the years?
There's a couple. There was one year I was on my way in to play one of my matches at Wimbledon, and the story in the press was that I saved a dog, but there was a dog running in the middle of the road when I was on my way to play my match, and yeah, so I stopped and I went out and I got the dog. It was busy road and stuff, and put the dog in my car and drove the dog back home to my house before coming in to play my match. So that'd be one.
So you did save a dog then?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it would have been hit by a car, but I did get out to get it. And then like I remember like the first year that I played at Wimbledon, the first couple of years when I was playing here, like just staying in a sort of a small house nearby with my mum and my wife, and you know, just when like nobody would have known me, and you know I could go about my day-to-day life like usually, and like go into Pizza Express and you know just live normally, I guess. And I remember that as well. My first Wimbledons were special because there wasn't the same stress and pressure. It was all just like excitement about going to to play at Wimbledon.
Absolutely. And what has it meant to you over the years, having your wife and your mum kind of there by your side in the stands watching you?
Yeah, I mean, it meant a lot. You know, that's one of the great things for all of the British players, I think, at Wimbledon is just, you know, the chance to play in front of your friends and family. Tennis, you know, we do so much travelling over the years. We're away from our families a lot, and it's not easy for them to come and watch us loads. But then, yeah, obviously when we were at Wimbledon, you know, we get that opportunity, and they've been two of the best supporters that I've had throughout my whole career, like on and off the court. And even still today, like, be quite easy for my wife to turn around and say, like, you know, enough now. You know, we've got the four children. The results haven't been, you know, as they were, you know, 8-9 years ago. But she's always like encouraging me to keep going, and been a huge support for me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's always a difficult one to know, like, what it is you should be, like, what British tennis should be expecting or what should be considered success, because like in the last 10 years I won some Grand Slams, and Emma Raducanu obviously won a Grand Slam on the women's side, and you know that hadn't been the case for 70 years on the men's side, and I think it was like 40 years on the women's side. So like that's a big improvement. But then people will want, I guess, more players competing and, you know, at the top of the game and having more depth. We obviously, you know, have a huge investment from Wimbledon every year going into the LTA, and that, I guess, sort of puts more pressure on us to develop players, but you know also should be a help as well. You know, tennis, like I said, it's not, you're doing a lot of travelling. It's not a cheap sport to play internationally. So yeah, you know, I would obviously like to see more, but hopefully that will change in the next few years.
Absolutely.
No, I think I still definitely get nervous coming into Wimbledon. I think also when you're getting towards the end of your career is that you have the experience of having played at Wimbledon lots of times, which really helps, but then you also know that you don't have that many more opportunities to do it, which makes you, you know, want to put in a good performance. You know, whereas when you're 21, you probably got another 10, 12 attempts at it. So I know that, you know, I've only got, you know, a few left, so I want to make the most of it.